Hello everyone, I hope you all doing well. My name is Dilpreet, and in this video I would like to talk about South Africa, which is found in the continent of Africa and is located in South Africa. So I would like to talk to you about the history and the geography, the people of Africa, South African attractions, history, animals, and many more things. Okay, I hope you're all ready. So let's start with the geography of South Africa. As I told you before, Africa is a continent. In that continent, you can find this country, find South Africa, which is located on the south. Okay, South Africa encloses two landlocked African countries, which are Swaziland and Lesotho. Both countries are ruled by kings, and the people who live in these countries are very poor. South Africa also shares a border with Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe in the north, and Mozambique in the east. So as you can see, the borders are here on these sides. Okay, so in South Africa, the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean meet off the southern Cape Coast. So here is the South Atlantic Ocean, and here there is the Indian Ocean, if you can see. So Indian Ocean is on the west of South Africa, and on the east you can see the South Atlantic Ocean. Okay, there are also 9 provinces in the country, which you can find here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, these are 9 provinces of the country. Okay, now let's move on to the next part of the geography. Okay, so I would like to tell you that South Africa has various mountain ranges and the grasslands. In the interior of the country, you will find a high plateau. The Kalahari Desert in the north is a part of the the highlands of the country. Johannesburg also lies on this plateau. Okay, at 1,700 meters above the sea level. But most of the bigger cities such as Cape Town, Durban, or Port Elizabeth are located near the coast in low-lying areas. So let me show you in the map. They are here. Okay, they're on these parts here: Cape Town, Durban, and Port Elizabeth. Okay, so the longest river in South Africa is the Orange River, which forms also part of the border between Namibia and from South Africa. Okay, if you didn't know, let me tell you that Tugela Falls in South Africa are the second highest waterfall in the world. Okay, now let's talk about a little bit of the attractions of South Africa. We have Cape Town in this country. So in Cape Town, you can, when you go there, what you can do is go on the Table Mountains, a waterfront, beaches, and many more town attractions which you can visit. Kruger National Park for safaris and great wildlife viewing. Sun City, which is near Pretoria, for fun and games. Addo National Park near Port Elizabeth for elephant spotting. Durban for surfing and great beaches. Then there are also some historic places in this Durban city. Then there are the Drakensberg Mountain for hiking, and nearby Lesotho for skiing in Africa. Okay, and there are some more geographic features of South Africa which you can find here. Okay, now let's move on to the next part, which is the history. Okay, as you can see, all this shows us the history and the times of when exactly what happened. So the Dutch settlers arrived in 1652. So Dutch settlers established their first white settlement here. Then The British settlers came in 1820. Big numbers of British settlers arrived. The ANC in 1912. The ANC is organized. Mandela is released in 1990. Nelson Mandela released from prison. The apartheid in 1991 ends. The Peace Prize in 1993, Nelson Mandela is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. In 1994, Nelson Mandela is elected as the President of South Africa. And in 2010, South Africa hosts the FIFA Soccer World Cup. Okay. Let's go back here, a bit here. In 1806, wars in Europe left the British in control of the Cape Town colony. In 1910, the British united 4 colonies in the region and created South Africa. They established laws that separated whites from black South Africans. A practice of segregation called apartheid, which is here, which ended in this time, okay, which leads to decades to conflict, okay. Then also, South Africa gained independence from the UK in 1931. They used a huge amount of land for farming then. So as soon as they gained independence, they started working on the country and so much more. Let's move on. So the national animal of South Africa is springbok. Okay, so wildlife in South Africa is abundant. There are many species of antelopes such as kudu, springbok, wildebeest, impala, gemsbok. When you go on a safari, you can see many other South African animals like lions, elephants, giraffes, and monkeys. South Africa is also a home to African penguins and great white sharks, which live in the ocean waters. Sometimes beaches are closed for bathing due to the sharks in the bays. Many beaches have shark nets. Remember to only swim in the sea where there are lifeguards on duty. Whale watching is very popular in South Africa too, and you will encounter an enormous sea life in South Africa when you go on a boat trip. So the climate of South Africa is really good. As you can see here, in summer the temperature is quite good, so it's from 20 degrees to 30 degrees. The summer in South Africa is from December to February. The winter is from June to August, and the temperature is really not that bad. It's from 7 degrees to 10 degrees. The autumn is in March, from March to May, and the average temperature is from 10 to 15 degrees. And finally, spring, 15 to 20 degrees, and the months for this are September to November. As in every other country, there are 4 different seasons in Africa too, and obviously they are on different months than any other countries. Okay, and the economy of South Africa. Farming, meaning and automotive industries run the economy. So this is what mainly happens in the country. The currency used is rand in denominations 10, 20, 50, 100 and 20s. The tourism contributes to the economy. So a large amount of people go and visit the country, and this is what helps them to grow their country and make some more money. South Africa is a democratic government and parliamentary system as it has 13 political parties with the African National. They elect their president every 5 years, and the current president's name is there. Then also, before 1994, only white South Africans were allowed to vote. However, since 1984, all the South African people can vote who are over the age of 18. So there was a really bad time when white people were treated well in South Africa, and black people were not treated equally as white people. Okay. There are so many different languages which are spoken in the country. So there are 11 official languages which are spoken in the country, and there are so many other languages which are unofficial. This colorful mix of culture gives South Africa its nickname as Rainbow Nation. As you can see here, language spoken in South Africa are Afrikaans, English, Zulu, Xhosa. South Africa has many different languages, okay? Okay, the customs and the traditions. South Africa celebrates Independence Day, Freedom Day, Reconciliation Day, Christmas, and New Year Day. And there are 11 languages, as I told you before. And South Africa also had different foods and stuff, which we will talk about later on. Okay, South Africa is called the Rainbow Nation because there are many different languages which are spoken in the country and different cultural traditions which lived here. Also, South Africa is called the cradle of humankind because of the archaeological artifacts, tools, and humans remain proof that lived in the area more than 10,000 years ago. And the biggest South African population group, the Zulu, mainly lives in rural settlements in KwaZulu-Natal. They even have a king. Okay. Nowadays, most of the people in South Africa live in near the big cities like Johannesburg, Pretoria, Durban, and Cape Town. The rural areas are still very poor, and also in the cities, many people live in shanty towns or townships. Also, did you know that the cars drive on the left side of the road as they do in the UK and Australia? Now let's move on to the food. So the foods of South Africa. The food the people eat in South Africa is very diverse. The South African staple food for the locals is mealies, which is corn and seasonal vegetables like potatoes, beans, carrots, and peas. Okay. And then South African people love to eat their meats and game meats such as kudu and springbok are common. However, most people eat beef, chicken, lamb, ostrich with their meals. Also, the people in South Africa love a barbecue, which is called a braai. And almost every house has got a fireplace, which is called braai place. In the pictures here, you can see some of the typical foods of South African people. Okay, which are bobotie, typical Cape Malay food containing rice, lamb, and fragrant spices. Then is koi sisters, which taste like donuts soaked in sticky sweet sauce. Okay, mealie pap, which is corn porridge, as I told you before. Biltong, a curd and dried meat that is typically South African snack, and similarly to beef jerky. Kids love to take this as a snack to school, so this is the one. Boero wors, Afrikaans for farmer sausage, is often put on the grill formed in a coal, so this is the one. here. Okay, this is the sausage. Um, the religion of South Africa. Almost 80% of South African people are Christians, and there are other religious groups too, which are like Hindus, Muslims, and Jews. So, because these religions exist because there are people who immigrated from other countries from the Asia. So this is why Africa has many different religions. Normally, every Sundays or whenever people are free, they like to attend the churches. Um, it's favorable in both rural and urban areas to go to the church. Apart from the work of the churches, a number of Christian organizations operate in South Africa, doing missionary work, giving aid, and providing training. Various religious magazines and newspapers are produced in South Africa, in addition to religious radio and television programs. Okay, so that's about it for South Africa. South Africa, so let me tell you more about South Africa. South Africans are passionate about music, often using a song and dance to express social and political ideas. They are also known worldwide for their skill in sport, including rugby, cricket, golf, and soccer. And as I told you before, in 2010, South Africa became the first African nation to host the World Cup goal. Okay, so that's it about South Africa. So also, did you know that most people speak at least 2 or 3 languages in South Africa? So let's go back to the languages in South Africa are spoken. So one person can speak more than 2, 3 languages, and one of them is English or Afrikaans. Also, South Africa has three capital cities. The powers are distributed between Pretoria, Cape Town, and Bloemfontein. The parliament meets for 6 months in Pretoria and the other half of the year in Cape Town. Okay, so that's it about Cape Town. About South Africa, and I hope you enjoyed, and thank you very much for listening. That's all for today. Thank you.